tell you that I love you.
Hey beautiful, welcome to Dr. Farah's Café. This is a video about Pluto moving into the sign of Aquarius, leaving Capricorn for the last time in our lifetimes and moving into Aquarius for the next couple of decades. Okay, so this is a big intergenerational planet. Pluto is a power player in the sky. And I wanted to get this video out to you, even though I'm in the process of moving across state lines. And I recorded all of my weekly refills and Tuesday tarot readings well in advance because I knew I wouldn't have a whole lot of time to do videos, but I had to get this Pluto moving into Aquarius video out to you. So we're going to do some astrology overview as well as tarot overview. I'm going to kind of interweave the two together because I want to use some tarot cards to illustrate some of the astrology that I have. And it's not my typical video with the slides that I put up on the screen. So I'm just going to go on my notes here and then the tarot cards that I have beside me. And I don't have my microphone with me. A lot of my stuff is still back in Texas. Okay, so let's start off with Pluto, the planet that we're talking about as it's ingressing into this future-oriented sign of Aquarius. So for those of you who are less familiar, Pluto has a lot to do with death and transformation, rebirth, okay? It is the modern ruler of Scorpio, and so they have a lot in common. Scorpio energy is about the depths and also death and transformation. And so when we think about Pluto, a lot of times it's also about the unconscious, the unseen, things that are buried and hidden, right? Things that are underground, right, are being unearthed or excavated. I will link to the Pluto retrograde video that I did where I talked about Pluto's last excavation in Capricorn, because that could enlighten you to an era that you're closing out, right? A cycle that you have come to develop mastery over, or you leveled up in terms of your personal power in the Capricorn area of your life. Hopefully, if you've been doing the work, right, we see how there's been a push in the larger society, in the larger world, to finally change and end old structures. Capricorn deals with old things, including old governments. Just gonna sit that there. And so Pluto being the planet of transformation, it, was kind of ushering in opportunities and space and sort of breaking up the old systems in preparation for future transformation that we believe will happen once it gets into Aquarius, which again is the sign of the future, of innovation, of revolution, and new technology and society and groups and networks of people, right? Aquarius is all those things. And so Capricorn energy, if you're reflecting back, is also represented by the Devil card. So in this deck, I'm using the Gates of Heaven. Is that the name of it? The name has slipped me, but it's like the something of heaven, like the Gates of Heaven, or it's way across the room, so I'm not going to read it. But Capricorn energy is ruled by the Devil. And so the Devil card represents things that are outside of our control, or that we feel like it's out of our control, where we've given our power away, where we've allowed ourselves to be subjected to oppression, where we have allowed ourselves to be led astray with temptations and things that are unhealthy for us. But in a positive way, in a positive vibration, that Capricorn/Devil energy is also about what we're radically committed to, what we are in for the long haul, right? Like what we're tying ourselves to with a deep, almost irrational level of commitment, right? And so that's why it can skew towards something like addiction, but it can also be like a creative obsession, or being determined and ambitious to succeed in something at all costs, right? Or with all of your might and giving it everything you can and not letting go, okay? So that's where Pluto is leaving from. And going into Aquarius, which is ruled by the Star card, right? And so a very different kind of energy. And so the Star card is, again, the future. It's hope, it's healing, it's aspirations. And so Pluto in Capricorn has not been easy for most people. And for me, it's been in my 8th house. So it's been like doubly transformative in that way. But I think a lot of people are going to be able to tap into a greater sense of hope, a greater sense of healing and optimism as Pluto gets deeper into Aquarius. But Pluto is death, rebirth, transformation. It rules the subconscious, right? It rules the taboo things. It rules crime and criminals. It is associated with power, but also like abuses of power, right? So power running away with itself. It's related to secrets, sexuality, but also spirituality, divining and divination. And as I mentioned, the garbage and the waste, And so, yes, the ultimate aim, my philosophy, my framework is that the ultimate aim of all of this energy, of all of this astrology, everything that the cosmos and the divine is allowing for us to manifest is ultimately for our spiritual evolution and our spiritual growth. And so sometimes that does involve waste and garbage and death and, decaying things and the breakdown of things, the destruction of something in order to clear space, right? And that's what the power of Pluto. I'm also thinking about like vulture energy. Like you think about vultures and they eat dead, rotting corpses. And it's a very vital part of our ecosystem because they help to clean the environment, right? They help to mitigate or minimize disease because they are eating decaying flesh instead of that, those dead animals and things just laying there and rotting and not being, disposed of in some more healthy way, I guess. Clearly, I'm not a, animal expert, but trying to use the analogies that I think might help. Okay, and so what I'm saying is that, yes, it's transformation, but it's not always pretty. I posted on Threads recently about, a video of a butterfly, a caterpillar creating its own chrysalis. And if you Google, and it was a time-lapse photo, if you were to Google, because I don't know if I'll be able to find the link again, but if you Google, a caterpillar turning itself into the chrysalis, into the cocoon, my comment on the video was like, that looks very uncomfortable. It was not a pretty sight, quote unquote. It wasn't like, rainbows and sunshines, or if you ever watched a butterfly break out of its cocoon. It's not really that cute, right? It's not that attractive. And so be patient with yourself, be gracious with yourself. If Pluto moves into this new area of your life and all of a sudden things start to get messy, things start to break down, things start to show that they're decaying or that they're rotting away. Because yes, it might be kind of ugly. It might start to smell bad a little bit in the process, but that is composting you for your brighter future, which is what Pluto in general, but especially Pluto in Aquarius. It's so focused on what needs to be disposed of. What's the waste that we have to get rid of? What is decaying? What is falling apart? What is dilapidated that we need to clear out and transmute and compost to be fertile soil for you to build your greater vision on, okay? Now, some things about Aquarius additionally, yes, it's the future. It's things like technology and electricity and that innovation. It's ruled by Uranus, but it also represents, again, friendships, groups, networks, larger society. The other thing about Capricorn, so Pluto leaving Capricorn, Capricorn is the government, right? It is specifically old, well-established institutions and governments. It's the top of the hierarchy, right? Whereas Aquarius is sort of the masses, the people that are governed. And so we're going to see some societal level shifts and changes for sure, where my thinking is that the people have more power, right? If Pluto is power and Aquarius is the people, the planet of power moving into the sign of the people, to me, feels like power to the people. I'm still, in the realm of exercising and theorizing around astrology myself, right? So we'll see. It'll be there for 20 years, so it's not going to be like overnight. Pluto moves very slowly, and as I mentioned, it might have to clear out. It might have to excrete a lot of the garbage and the crap before we start to feel relief, before we start to see how what exactly it's fertilizing for the better into the future. Pluto in tarot is often represented by judgment. In this deck, it's called the Gate, right? And so it's, again, that rebirth element. And Aquarius, being ruled by Uranus, is often represented by the Fool card, which is a brand new beginning, brand new breakaway, breakout. That's why it's like innovation in the future, the avant-garde, things that have never been done or tried before. Also things that are very unique, very original. So Aquarius also rules free thinking. Come on now. Aquarius rules free thinkers. Like, that energy is associated with people who are eccentric and who are unapologetically different. Just like very, very different. Progress, progressives, rebellions, rebelliousness. Aquarius also rules spirituality and spiritual occurrences. And so I'm thinking about Pluto being the planet of divining and divination, Aquarius being the sign or the energy associated with astrology and astrologers, as well as spirituality and spiritual occurrences. My hope is that we are embracing more spirituality, especially more non-institutionalized religion, right? So that would be more Capricorn, right? Like church and state, like the church that's like, you know, like the Roman Catholic Church. And this is not about like what religion you practice. You can practice any religion and still appreciate astrology. You can practice any religion and still appreciate tarot, the whole nine. But I'm just saying, like, what energies are associated with what aspects of society and culture. So Capricorn is associated with like large, massive, old churches. And I think Pluto moving into Aquarius, it's going to open up more people, open up more groups and communities that are open and curious about exploring alternative forms of spirituality, or more taboo forms of spirituality. Again, because Pluto is a planet associated with the taboo. And just innovating, even if it's not like a new form of spirituality, like you're going from one church to a different church. Maybe you innovate within the faith or within the religion, within the spiritual practice that you already have, right? But it definitely speaks to expanding and innovating and being unique, right? So not just fitting the box of whatever faith or spiritual practices you have, but being liberated enough to do what's really authentic to you, okay? In whatever category or label you choose for it. And any other tarot cards here? Okay, so those are the cards that I pulled that represent these energies. But I also pulled cards for this specific transit. Here it is. So I shuffled the deck to see what additional messages the divine has for us, for me, and for you who's watching this. I specifically honed in on people who are watching this video, okay, which is not a lot of people. So if you're watching this message is probably really especially for you, okay? So 4 things in terms of overall themes for Pluto moving into Aquarius for the next couple of decades. 1, transformation of our tribes. Aquarius is groups and associations, friends, tribes. Pluto is transformation. So I'm thinking that's going to be a really, really big one, right? Just a 1 + 1 = 2, right? Pluto in Aquarius, transformation of our tribes, specifically being able to identify or understand or have clarity around our authentic groups, our authentic tribes. So not trying to fit in, but finding where we authentically belong, okay? Second theme is revolutionizing and empowering. So whatever part of your life Pluto is going to be influencing. For some of you, it's going to influence your relationships. For some of you, it's going to influence your work and your career. For other people, it's going to be working on your money situation. For other people, it'll be working on your health situation. If you want to know specifically what area this might be for you, leave a comment with your sun sign or your rising sign, and I will comment. I'll reply to your comment with the house and the general themes and keywords pertaining to this Pluto transit for you. Because I am doing this in the middle of like trying to move and unpack and get furniture in, I didn't do a sign by sign breakdown, but if you really want to know and you leave a comment with your sun sign and or rising sign, then I'll fill you in on like the specifics part of your life you can look for this Pluto influence, okay, where Aquarius is in your birth chart. But revolutionizing and empowering that part of your life, right? So if it's your health, Pluto in Aquarius, again, is going to show you like where's the dilapidated stuff, like what's unhealthy, essentially, like what are the unconscious or the subconscious patterns that are negatively impacting your health. It's going to show you all that. It's going to dredge it up and bring it up so that, again, you can have a cleaner, fresher slate to build the new 2.0 version of you that is as healthy as you can be, right? In your unique form of healthiness. Another example is if it's working in your career. Pluto moving into Aquarius might be showing you like where's the crap in your career, right? Or what are the subconscious sabotaging tendencies? Where do you give your power away at work, right? It's going to reveal, again, dredge up all of that, the muck and the grossness of what's happening with you in terms of your career, so that you can clear it out and have, again, that fertile soil, that more empowered knowledge and ability to build the career that's best for you, right? The career that's going to carry you and support you and be fulfilling and worthy of your authentic brilliance and magic, okay? So those are two examples. And then a third theme is freedom to be unique and original. Again, Aquarius energy is all about the original person, like the standout person, the avant-garde person. I know some Aquariuses who are like, yeah, we love humanity, but we hate people, right? So a lot of times Aquarius people feel like they never quite fit in. They never, especially Aquarius like moon people, Aquarius sun people. It's always like, oh, I kind of vibe with these people, but it's still clear to me that like, I'm different, right? I might even be an alien. I might not be from this planet at all, right? So sometimes Aquarius energy can give that vibe. So with Pluto moving into Aquarius for all of us, this being, again, a society-wide energy, because Pluto's one of the farthest planet, basically, and has that larger generational cycle, a lot of us might feel more empowered to be our unique, original, authentic selves. Yeah? I'm loving it. I am so excited about that. And then the fourth theme is very similar, which is liberation, right? So being free. So transformation, revolution, and liberation, empowerment, uniqueness. And I want to talk about revolution as well, because revolution is the turning over of something, like turning something over. And so it kind of implies that, again, there's a little bit of chaos. In order to renovate a home, you have to do some demo. You have to tear some things down in order to remodel the home, right? So let's look at the tarot cards that I shuffled and pulled for us. I also have an oracle card. The oracle card that fell out, I should have done it on camera, but I think you believe me when I say that this card fell out. It is radical rebirth. And what did I just say Pluto represents or symbolizes? Death, transformation, rebirth. This card specifically is radical rebirth. And so to me, that's Pluto is the rebirth and Aquarius is the radical part. Yeah. And the affirmation from the guidebook is still I rise. So for this author specifically, the radical rebirth comes after a period of what seems like failure, comes after a period of what feels like making the wrong decisions, making the wrong choices. And so I think we're going to have multiple cycles within cycles, almost like spiraling with this Pluto energy, right? So we might start to feel like this with our transformations, like, oh, I keep seeing the dirt, I see the decay, I see the what needs to be composted. And the longer that Pluto is in Aquarius, so in the years to come, maybe the next decade, we realize that our cycle of transformation starts to do like that. It starts to expand, okay? So at the beginning, it might be like, oh, okay, what? Like things might be coming at us from a lot of places, a lot of different angles, a lot of revelations might be had in the earlier parts of Pluto and Aquarius. But I think we'll evolve or develop or grow to a point where we start to be able to have longer stretches where we take the lesson and we start to apply it. And we have a longer stretch before the next lesson comes. Maybe. Let's see. And then the tarot card that fell out, I asked for one. But then I looked at the bottom of the deck because I love the bottom of the deck, right? It's like so potent. And then I ended up pulling 3 more cards. So I was like, can I have a succinct message for the collective of beautiful souls who are watching? Got the one card. I was going to do the first bottom of the deck, but then I picked it up and I saw what was underneath it. And I was like, we got to keep going. And then I saw what was underneath that. We got to keep going. I'll explain why. The card that fell out when I was shuffling is the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords is Aquarius energy. Don't you? I love when tarot is tarotting. I love when spirit is spiriting. 5 of Swords, I believe, is Venus in Aquarius specifically. Venus is currently in Capricorn, which is interesting. Yeah, so let's watch for Venus when it moves into Aquarius, because it'll conjunct Pluto at some point. Yeah. So Venus is currently in Capricorn, where Venus is just leaving. And I don't know the exact date because it's just coming to me in this moment. But Pluto's going to go into Aquarius on the 19th. I didn't mention that. I went this whole video and I didn't mention that Pluto moves into Aquarius on November 19th, I believe. Again, I'm like, this isn't my usual like PowerPoint presentation kind of video where I have all the dates and things. But when Venus leaves Capricorn and moves into Aquarius, it's going to conjunct Pluto. So this 5 of Swords is Venus in Aquarius. So this could be speaking to a specific moment, or even like all of the conjunctions, because Venus is going to conjunct Pluto in Aquarius multiple times while Pluto is there in Aquarius, because it's there for 20 years, and Venus transits around a year-ish, maybe a year and a half. The 5 of Swords in other decks usually means a battle. It usually means a fight. I see it also as being emotionally detached, sort of callous or cold. And this is giving the revolution energy. This is giving the rebellion energy. And I'm not telling anyone to, this is not a call to violence by any means. But spiritually, emotionally, you might be ending relationships. You might be ending bad habits, ending subconscious sabotage, right? This is cutting away. This is the cutting away of what's not in your best interest. However, this deck, one of the reasons why I've been using it so much is that it does take a more spiritual development, spiritual empowerment focus on all of the tarot cards, which is really interesting. So I'm going to read from them. Here it is. Spheres of Heaven. The Spheres of Heaven Tarot. That's the deck I'm using. So they describe the 5 of Swords as a leap of the mind, which is very Aquarian, right? It's like a leap in consciousness. Sometimes we need to do something forceful, even extraordinary, to break the bonds that constrain us. Revolution, liberation, transformation. 5 swords, led by a red-tipped dueling foil, marshal together to strike away the orderliness that no longer serves us. Okay, listen to these words. They're landing very strongly, I feel. With the 5 of Swords, we leave the order that we established with the 4 swords of the previous card. We leave our comfort zone audaciously with a powerful leap. This could be a crazy idea, a daring plan, or even a figment of the imagination. Regardless, we leap after it with all our strength and focus. Strength and focus. Here, the danger is the opposite from the Four of Swords. There is no risk of doing too little, but failure by doing too much, allowing yourself to be foolishly led astray by some unhinged plan. But perhaps we must be led astray to reach our destiny. So much there. It feels like it's the perfect card to come out for Pluto and Aquarius, because the idea of having to do something to break the old structures, that is literally Pluto moving from Capricorn, the old structure, to Aquarius, where things can be shocking, things get shaken up, things get changed, things get transformed, things get revolutionized, right? And then the other thing is, well, I'm not going to say that. Bottom of the deck was the Page of Pentacles. Now, the Page of Pentacles in this instance just means new opportunities. New opportunities are arising. This is what it looks like in this deck. Page of Pentacles. Now, underneath that, when I picked up the Page of Pentacles, was the Tower. The Tower, which is that it's Mars, which is Scorpio, which rules Scorpio, but it's also very Uranian, very Uranus-like. So this is, again, the revolution. This is the upheaval. This is the chaos. This is the toppling of systems. This is the toppling of the old structure. Like, literally, you can see the structure crumbling. I think I've said enough. And then underneath that was the King of Swords, which is the Aquarius card. It's the Aquarius court card. The Knight of Swords is Gemini. The Queen of Swords is Libra. And the King of Swords is Aquarius. So personally speaking, yes, this could mean the toppling of governments, structure, external structures, but more pertinent to you, perhaps, I don't know your life like that, perhaps those of you watching, and what I feel called to say now is that the inside out job, this has to be an inside out job. And so if we want to reimagine and reestablish and revolutionize the external world, the external environment, we have to be willing to be revolutionized from within. There's some structure in our mind, in our hearts. There's our mind specifically, because this is the King of Swords, which is the thoughts and communication. We have to destroy our old ways of thinking, the old programming, the old subconscious patterns, the old belief systems, whatever that means for you, in order to usher in the new, more aligned reality for us individually as well as collectively. Okay? This went a lot longer than I thought for a quick video just to hop on and make sure you had something. I will share dates. So I mentioned Pluto moves into Aquarius on the 19th of November. I haven't double checked that. So if you know that the date is slightly different, but it is this coming week, right? But it was previously in Aquarius 2 other times. So I'm going to share dates to look back to, because they might have given you a sneak peek or a preview. So in 2023, Pluto was in Aquarius from March 23rd to June 11th, 2023. So you can check your emails, DMs, text messages, camera rolls, journals, calendars, see what Pluto in Aquarius was kind of planting the seeds of, sort of like dipping its toe into the water of Aquarius at that time. And then it went back into Aquarius January 20th through September 1st of 2024. So earlier this year, all this year up until September 1st, we were getting a taste. We were starting to acclimate to that Pluto and Aquarius energy. And the retrograde, the outer planets with their massive retrogrades dipping into one sign and then retrograding back into the other sign feels like trying to climb Mount Everest. If you are familiar with the process of trying to climb Mount Everest or any really high summit, you have to acclimate to the new air. And so what you do is you start out at base camp, right? And then you hike up a little bit, and then you go back down to base camp. And then you hike up a little bit more, and then you go back down to base camp, so that your body, your physical body, can adjust to the new air. And I feel like that's what the dipping in and out of Aquarius before going fully into Aquarius sort of helped us do, right? Because Pluto is akin to climbing Mount Everest. It's that massive of a transit in people's lives, right? In the larger society as well. It's big change. It could bring about a big difference in the atmosphere. And so it's almost, because Uranus is going to do the same thing, dip out of Taurus into Gemini and then go back into Taurus. And Neptune is going to do the same thing. It's going to dip out of Pisces and go into Aries for a little bit and then go back into Pisces, right? So these larger intergenerational outer planets are doing this thing where, like, okay, we're going to give you a taste, help your body adjust, give you a sense so you can get a little acclimated. Then we're going to ease off the pressure, right? It's like, just getting us used to that new atmosphere a little bit before we're full throttle, right? All right, my dears. Let me know if this was helpful. Like I said, I don't usually do this kind of video. I'm usually more structured with my PowerPoint slides and the whole nine. But, I wanted to make time to do this. I thought I wasn't going to do it because I'm in the middle of moving. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I got it out for you all. So you'll see my refills, my Tuesday tarot readings, they're in my old office, right? So they will continue as normal for the rest of the year. It's just this video that's different for right now. But I hope it has helped you in some way to refill your spiritual cup. And I hope to see you in another video. Don't forget, if you want to get an idea of how this might be impacting you specifically, leave a comment with your sun or rising sign or both, okay? And I will respond with a few key ideas and themes that you can look out for or start to think about as Pluto moves into Aquarius. Okay, much love.